Carolina is the founder and owner of The Real Unlimited You, a transformative space dedicated to empowering women to break free from unhealthy cycles and rediscover their authentic selves. With a passion for helping women overcome anxiety, self-doubt, and low self-esteem, Carolina's innovative system is designed by women for women, creating fast, profound, and lasting transformations. Through her work, she has guided thousands of women globally towards radical self love, yes, confidence, and emotional intelligence, making her a powerful advocate for women's empowerment and healing. And what a better guest to have on this show. I love these topics. This is what we talk about on the Shy Within podcast. Carolina, thank you so much for being on my show today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me and being able to share this ray of hope and message for all those women out there that want to be able to have that radical self-love and that authenticity and just be able to go out there and be their whole magical selves, really, really shining because we're all a special star. We all came here for something special, something worthwhile. And I really believe in that worth in each and every single woman out there.
Yes, and you're all the way in Africa.
At the
Oh,
moment, that's
thank
correct.
you. Yes, I'm going to say thank you for spending time with me today. I don't know what time it is over there for you. So I appreciate your time today. So, Carolina, can you just go ahead and your story? I mean, obviously it's inspiring and definitely incredible. Could you go ahead and share the moment during the pandemic when you actually realized you needed to make a change and start your healing journey?
Wow, thanks. Thanks for asking. I think that's really where the story kind of hit a pinnacle and a real change in direction in my life. There was so much that happened prior to that that led up to that moment. Having a relationship with my ex-husband that had gone really wrong, him being a narcissist and a gaslighter and leaving me bankrupted in Mexico. And then having to restart life from scratch and then rebuilding a completely new career and working out what does this mean to run my own business and be able to go out there and help people. Now, I worked with food and nutrition for many years, working with private clients on these luxury yachts. I worked in event management. I studied law. I have such a varied background. And it was like at that moment when I was so shattered and broken on the floor and I had to find that new drive, I was on this search. And through that search, I found the answer and I came across Creatrix. And what was so mind blowing for me was that in the span of, the whole program took 12 weeks, but I was doing it so fast and so furiously with my transformologist. Within 4 weeks, I mean, there's my before and after video. There's me crying, confused, full of imposter syndrome, unable to make decisions, so much doubt in the world and myself. And then suddenly, 4 weeks later, me charging towards my life in a way that was just so different from me, even to this day. I just actually sent out an email yesterday saying, like, how I've reflected back after all these years, the incredible change and transformations that I experienced, and never reverted back to any of the issues that I had in the past. Not once. I felt so elated and empowered.
Wow. Now you've overcome intense challenges like anxiety, depression, and loss of self-esteem. I know for myself, I had no self-worth. I felt like there was no hope, no nothing. How did you actually begin rebuilding your confidence, and what role did radical self-love play in your transformation?
It's a hard journey when one's lost and one's broken. We often talk about self-esteem and not really realizing how self-esteem and self-worth is so connected into our confidence and how we put ourselves out there. And so when it came to that journey of building a new business for myself, building a new life from scratch, and redefining who I was at that stage of my life, it was really about being open-minded, like staying curious about the world around me and finding that hope that things would work out, no matter how hard things were. Of having hope and creating a really, really good support system and having that support system witness our changes, our transformations, being able to reach to them when we need a little helping hand on the side. But really staying open and having hope was so key because at that stage, having lost everything and not even being able to trust myself was such a dark place. And it finally reached a point where the pain was so much I couldn't take it anymore that I had to make a different decision. It was time to get out of victimhood. It was time to move past the challenges and the obstacles. And if that meant recreating me, recreating my life, recreating everything, I was willing to do whatever it took to not be in that place anymore. And so slowly but surely, it meant taking actions and affirming if those actions were working for me. Once that started to feel right, and I was listening not just to my logic, because a lot of women think, oh, we've got to be more like men. We've got to use our logical mind. It's got to make sense. But for a lot of us, it's when our heart and our gut instinct align with what we want in our mind that things just flow. I think that's the perfect example of like coherence and manifestation. And when I really started to meditate on that every day and really try and lean into myself to align my mind, my heart, my gut, things just started to flow so differently. I mean, even today, I had one of the most immaculate calls with a woman, and now we're arranging an amazing retreat. And I'm just like, wow, look at the difference. And that every time that happens, that raised my confidence, that raised my ability to see myself as somebody worthy, and my esteem then improved. And so the confidence comes out, and people can just tell my authenticity is just so genuine that I mean what I mean. I'm here, I'm passionate, I'm driven. And yeah, that's what drives me and moves me now.
Love it. Now, your system for transformation is designed specifically by women for women. Love that because I think we're out of that mean girl era where we're just comparing ourselves and hating on our friends or frenemies, right? We're in a
Right.
different era where we're trying to support each other, empower other women because we are all one. What makes your approach different, would you say? And why do you believe it works so well for creating fast and irreversible change?
Irresistible could be too. Irresistible change, I'll tell you. So, it's so good. It's so great that you asked that. So many of the systems out there, when we talk about um, women or men for that matter, wanting to do the personal development work or improve upon themselves or do the therapy or move past the baggage that they have carrying with them, all of those systems generally throughout history was designed by men through their eyes, through their perception of the world. And in fact, biologically, women's brains physically have only been started to be studied since 1994. Now, the women's movement and women's rights is a very recent thing in history. We've been very oppressed, suppressed. We've been told how to behave in society, societal expectations, right? And we're past the angry woman stage. And so the woman who designed the system, creatrix Maz Shermer, she had gone through so much in her own life. She needed to break those cyclical patterns that was just running down through the generations, and it was starting to affect her children. And she went out and did NLP and hypnotherapy, and she studied everything to be able to help other women. And what she realized is so many women started rooting back. So when she started digging deeper into the mind of the woman, our hormones, what makes us different from men, and how one can communicate to the unconscious mind of a woman in a way that biologically works with her, to the point of like one of our clients had incredible chronic stress. And after going through this program, that chronic stress disappeared because it was emotional, because it was trauma, and because it was attached inside of her. And doctors had tried for years. So, based on the fact that it looks and it is aligned in a way that women function, the way we think, the way we perceive, the way we feel. I mean, women are 25% more heart gut connection than men are. And it's because we are so risk averse. We have a different hormones. Estrogen makes us emotional, progesterone makes us boisterous and confident and very honest, and then we have these different cycles in our month and then throughout our lives. And so when we look at medical science, not considering those things when it comes to treating women and getting them to that place. No wonder women keep coming back and having to pay for a different system to try again resolve the same problem. Whereas this program, having that all in there, even after 11 years, I mean, it's existed now for 15, women have never reverted back for the same issue that they went for an initial treatment. And that's powerful. And they've tried this on men, and it had zero effect on the men. So there's something to be said about the fact that we are very different mentally, emotionally, biologically, and that's why we need a system that's designed for women.
Love it. Yes, our cycles. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, I definitely experience some hormonal changes right now in the stage of my life right now. For women who are trapped in unhealthy cycles or struggling with self-doubt, where do you suggest they begin their journey towards healing and self-empowerment?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think the priority there is always to make oneself their own priority. It's often what I see is women will put everyone else first before themselves, especially if you're a mom or if you're a working woman. Everything else takes priority, and that's our first mistake. So making ourselves priority and taking time to really be able to sit with ourselves to a point where we enjoy our time alone. Now, if you're a woman who really self-isolates too much, I'm going to say do the opposite. Get out and socialize. It's time to find that balance as well, because good, healthy relationships will then teach you how to better behave or to change your perspective around things. I think the other thing that has been proven over and over and over again is the power of meditation. Just easy home take skills. Things like the Wim Hof breathing technique is so calming to stop all the overthinking in our head and all the what ifs that come up, which just raises our anxiety and makes us panic. And that really does a lot of damage to our body, right? Stress is the worst killer in the world. So when we take the time to train and learn to focus in, especially with a sense of gratitude and trying to find that coherence of my mind is aligning with how I feel in my heart, in my genuine soul, and then my gut instinct. When we can come back to that, that is a place where you can then face the day with more confidence, with more power, with allowing the doubt to happen, but not allowing it to dictate the outcome. You're still going to be able to take action. And this, again, irrespective of your hormones. Let's not be the football of our emotions just because we have hormonal cycles. Let's lean into that and realize, like, in the monthly cycle, we might have the spring, so we get all lively and friendly and we want to express love. And then we're in the summer where we're super proactive. And then we get into the autumn, we start to shut down. We need slower time. We're more reflective and productive, actually. And then we get into the winter, which is really our slowest state, but also the most profound thinking that we go through. And so if we align our lives in that way with ourselves, it makes such a difference to our productivity, how we can prioritize ourselves, lean into that in a way that doesn't say, oh, I have to do it within over a 24 period. But we look at it from a monthly cycle and realize we work differently again to men. So, yeah, I would say lean into that and trust your woman, feminine inner instinct. Go back to that because we were all born with that. And I bet you if I ask women out there in your community, it's like, when did things ever align so much in your life? Is when everything really, really aligned. So, yeah, definitely making yourself a priority, taking time to be with yourself, something like meditation, obviously eating well. Okay, if you're eating a lot of junk food and you've got a lot of toxins going in your body, that is going to affect your mind. The gut-brain connection is massive. In fact, depression has often been associated with things like magnesium deficiency. And so if you're somebody who's feeling you're having a lot of anxiety, definitely look at your nutrition or if you need to supplement with other things. But gut health is primordial to that. And then as well as really good rest. I know that sounds so easy, but we don't do it enough. We've got so much overstimulation, and that tends to, for us women, that we already connect so many things in our mind and all these thoughts from here and there. It's time to be able to say, hey, pause and take that time back. Really allow yourself that space. The rest, and just sit and be with yourself.
I love it. It's true because I go by the seasons. I'm noticing now that when the sun was going up, I was getting up. Now that the sun is starting to come up a little bit later, I'm like, it's time for me to get up. But my body's like, no, no, no. So wintertime, I definitely take that rest. And you're right. I start getting into my creative mode and start writing things, journaling more or resting more. And I feel so much better once, then spring comes along, the birds are chirping, I'm getting up more. And it's so interesting how we are so
Exactly.
connected to the seasons too.
Absolutely, exactly. And that's that beautiful thing is once we find that flow, the rest kind of follows because you'll be inspired and you'll have that epiphany. It'll be when you least expect it. Maybe, one of the most beautiful practices I ever tried, and I did it for several months, and you see how your cycle and the seasons change and what that represents. And it was called the 10,000 bows. I did it from a Buddhist school that recommended it to me. And it was so fascinating, even during a difficult time, just bowing hands together and saying thank you, even for a difficult challenge, saying thank you for the food in front of me, Thank you that I have a shower in the morning. Thank you that I have a career I love. Thank you for the friends that support me. Thank you for the person who hurt my feelings. All the things. So much to a point that it literally had rewired my brain. And people could see me responding differently. It reduced my anxiety, but it was a training. It was really this immense training of saying, I am committed to changing the way I'm responding to the way I perceive the world and owning that control.
I love it. Yes, gratitude is the is the right attitude to have. I tell you that. I
I
notice
love
that the
that.
more that I'm grateful for things, even in my past, I struggled a lot, yes, but I am grateful for those struggles because it's conditioned to me to be who I am today and who is helping other women with their alcohol dependency as well. So, yeah. Now, you
Wow.
actually offer an opportunity for women entrepreneurs to join this movement and make a real impact. Can you actually talk about your movement and about the business side of it and how women can get involved?
Absolutely. I love sharing this. In fact, I have quite a lot of therapists and modality specialists often join my workshops because they want to find out more. So initially, how this works is for women, like if you're stuck in a rut and maybe you're trying to break those glass ceilings and you want to get into this personal development and profound woman change, you actually go through the entire program. So you have those breakthroughs, you have that profound healing, you embody confidence on a level that you just didn't even think was possible because you go through the client journey as you go through this training program. By the time you come out the other side, it's like a 180-degree turn. If you were confused about who you are and what you want in your life or how to go about it, now not only do you have the business skills and the method to do it, but you've had all those breakthroughs. And we've seen women who have signed up and gone through the training and have, earned back their return on investment within 6 months, just because of the real transformation that's happened inside of them. And these are people, I mean, some of these were businesswomen who were struggling to do a social post or to keep up with their weekly emails, or they were scared to run an ad. To suddenly 4, 6, 10 weeks later, they're running full blown businesses. They take on calls with clients. They've added this whole new modality to their business model and they're seeing massive results. And that's really how I started. I'd had a gut health business and realized some of the women weren't really healing. They weren't really able to take action consistently. And when we dealt with it on this side, everything just flowed so much easier. And I just saw how it united so well with my business. So for other women, maybe you're in HR, maybe you run a business, maybe you're in health as well. This could work with empowering those women in your industry and allowing them to thrive in the best way that's authentic to themselves. And so, yeah, it's really unlimited in the ways that it can be used.
I love that. I love that. Now, any future workshops or initiatives that you're working on right now?
Absolutely. So I currently am running a couple of workshops. I do this weekly. One is for women overcoming narcissism, gaslighting, divorce, and bad breakups. It's very particular and close to my heart. And I know how much women who are very stuck in a negative rut, it's hard to come out of it. So I offer that, and that leads to this program, and it's a complete healing and complete breakthrough. But on the other side, I also then offer, overcoming imposter syndrome and self-doubt and being able to then be a leader, run a business. This is particular for women in leadership roles that are women entrepreneurs, or maybe moms with side hustles that realize they've got the work to do. They know what they need to do, but they're stuck for some reason, or maybe they're looking for a business. That talk is really about that side of the industry. So I hold these two workshops and I help and facilitate women on both sides.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, you have worked with thousands of women across the world. What are some of the most what are the most success stories that you have witnessed on
Oh,
these transformations?
gosh, every single one of them is just mind-blowingly amazing. The thing is, we think that profound emotional and head healing doesn't have a physical impact, but it does. So there was an example of one woman who had been in a relationship with an extreme narcissist, and after ending the relationship and managed to get away and tried therapy, tried all sorts of things, she'd suffered chronic stress in her blood for years. It was affecting her, her diabetes, her weight, her hormones, her brain fog, everything. And she tried with doctors and therapists for years. When she came to us, She had completed the full 12-week program and all of that chronic stress had disappeared. So medically, it just showed how physically different her body was now responding to stress or just everyday things that normally would have driven her crazy or created an emotional vortex for her. So she, just her physical tests were just an incredible proof, but also just her joy and happiness. She went from somebody so lost and confused to so found, and now going out there and being a speaker and motivating other women to take that leap of faith of saying, hey, you can heal on a level that you didn't even know was possible, and also became a creatrix transformologist. I had this other incredible woman as well. She had all throughout her life this inability to express herself. It's like something had happened in her family. We get into their stories, but I don't want to share too much. But she just wasn't allowed to express herself in her true essence from a young child. She was always told in some way. Then she worked at the family business. And it resulted that she really started suffering, how do you call it again? Really severe rosacea, which is a skin ailment, right? And it really goes red. You get these bumps. It's like a really bad eczema, and nothing was helping to go away. And when she again came through this program, and you look at her today, it's almost 100% gone. There's only the smallest remnants of it on her skin. She doesn't wear makeup. She talks about it. She shows her before and after photos. It is unbelievable seeing the change in her. And she then started a business afterwards, and within 2 years is thriving on her own. She hasn't looked back ever since. And that's just like the impact. It ripples into so many different places in their lives. But I mean, there's so many beautiful stories. There's women in their 70s. We have women who are in their mid 20s that are just, yeah, not confident in who they are and don't even know where to start with life. They don't know how to connect with themselves, and they have these amazing turnovers.
Wow. Wow. Now, for our listeners who are inspired and want to connect with you, how can they do so?
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, if they want to connect with me directly, I think the best thing is to drop me an email at carolina@primeintegrativenutrition.com and request a call. I'd give a free 30-minute complimentary call just to do a discovery on which side of the batting field are you on. Are you more on the gut side, or are you on the emotional healing side, or do we have to look at a bit of amalgamation of both? Because I work with each person so individually. And then they can go to my website where they can read up about everything that I offer on primeintegrativenutrition.com. And one of the pages there is the Real Unlimited You, which is really where I do this heart healing, profound change and transformation for women. And that really, there is a workshop. They can sign up to see the little auto webinar, and what it explains all the reasons of the female factor of why the system really works on women, as well as other women's reviews and private testimonials, which I don't put forward facing because some of them are very emotional and intimate. But thanks to the ladies that are willing to share those stories, it's so invaluable and allowing other women to see how impactful the changes can be.
Wonderful. And then finally, what would you say to a woman who feels like she's lost herself, her voice, her worth, her confidence, and is unsure she can ever find her true self again? And how can she begin to believe in the possibility of transformation?
Oh, I hear her. I would say come to one of my workshops and see the before and after videos of other women, but have hope. Have hope, take action. Don't be afraid to believe still. Take action. I mean, if you're unsure, call me or drop me an email and let's get you started, because I've seen so many women go through that and no one has to stay like that. I keep saying in all my emails and correspondence, like, I believe in your worth in the world. So it's about time you do too. And I know it was a big plunge for me to take that decision when I was that low and confused and in a dark space. We almost feel like I don't deserve better. I deserve to suffer. And if that's something you're going through, I'm telling you that can change. I can help you change. We have a team that can help you change that, and we can do it fast.
Wonderful. Any last words, Carolina?
Oh, just that I hope every woman out there who heard this today feels inspired, or if you heard somebody else who you feel would really appreciate this, share it with them. We touch each other's hearts as women, and the more we raise each other up and celebrate each other and share the magic that we women bring into this world, the better healed we are, the better the world becomes, because that's going to ripple to our friends, to our family, to our children, to our grandchildren. And we are the epigenetic cycle. We are the uterus engine room that is spreading the messages to the next generation. So let's really support each other.
Oh, I love it. Yes, 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 yes. I got little hair standing up on my head, so I
Oh.
know those are this the truth there. Well, thank you
Yeah, because
so
we know
much.
it,
Yeah,
girlfriend.
that's right.
Yes.
That's right. Oh, I cannot wait for this podcast to come out. Thank you so much, Carolina, for your wisdom and just to give us light in that, we can be confident. We can have the worth. We can, and we are enough. So yes, we're more than enough almost. Actually, we are more than
We have
enough.
everything we need inside of us. All the gurus were right. It's in there. We've got it.
That's
It's
right.
just
Well,
about accessing it.
that's right. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Gina. So lovely to chat with you.